Imagine waking up one morning drowning in self-doubt. You've lost everything. The one thing you were great at gone. Your dreams shattered. For Keith Lee, this wasn't just a bad day. It was his reality. Cut off from the life he thought he was destined for, Keith sat in a cramped room, sharing a bunk bed with his younger brother, who never let him forget one painful truth. He was a failure, but Keith Lee's story wasn't over. It was just beginning. Keith Lee grew up in Detroit, Michigan, a city known for its resilience, but life wasn't kind to him.
So I've had a very supportive lifestyle my entire life. I have both parents, my mom and dad. I have 3 siblings. It's me. I'm the middle. I have a younger brother named Cameron, an older brother named Kevin, and then a sister named Irma. We are all born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I was born in Southfield, which is like kind of a suburb outside of Michigan. Well, it used to be a suburb, but now it's like a extension of Detroit.
Expelled from multiple schools, he struggled to find purpose. He turned to wrestling, not out of passion, but out of spite. Keith wanted to prove people wrong, to silence the voices that told him he wasn't enough. And for a while, he did. He pushed himself, wrestling his way through high school, fighting for recognition. But just as his momentum built, life struck back.
And they didn't let me graduate. They just was like, we're going to send you your diploma in the mail and you go to high school. So by the time I got to high school, I was a weed head, smoking every day. I'm talking about bad, like every day. My freshman year, I had a 0.6 GPA. Wow. I had a 0.6.
His world collapsed. With no stability, no future, and no way forward, Keith faltered. He was offered a spot at Indiana Tech, but he made a critical mistake. He never actually enrolled. When he arrived, expecting to be a student, they told him he didn't exist.
I leave Vegas and go to Indiana because the school semester started, right? I'm there for 4 days. They called me into the office. I had no paperwork filled out, sir.
Who are you?
Yeah, they was like, only thing we have is the offer letter that we sent you.
Right?
So we only got your name and your information from the offer letter. They was like, that's all we know about you. We don't know nothing else. I've only been in college for less than a week.
The breakup was
I've only been grown.
The most eventful 4 days.
Keith was homeless, hopeless, and lost. Back in his mother's house, sharing a bunk bed with his younger brother, he sank into a deep depression.
Me and my dad got into it. We got into it real bad. I was in a very deep, dark depression to a place where like nothing mattered anymore. So I just was like, whatever about to happen is gonna happen. So I full blown was cussing him out.
But this wasn't how his story was going to end. With nowhere else to turn, Keith found one last chance at redemption. His older brother, Kevin Lee, had already made a name for himself in the UFC, and he forced Keith to train. It wasn't easy. Pain, sweat, blood. But Keith fought back. He won 4 amateur MMA fights, proving to the world and to himself that he wasn't done yet. Then came the life-changing moment, a 6-figure contract with Bellator. Finally, he had made it. But just as quickly as success came, it was ripped away. But this time, Keith had something he didn't before, a partner, a reason to keep fighting. Ronnie held him together. And together, they would discover the unexpected path that would change everything. Desperate for a fresh start, Keith turned to TikTok. At first, it was just random content, psychology facts, riddles, family vlogs.
Yo, so I have a friend that has a master's in psychology, and he taught me some cool tests. But I definitely gotta warn you, this one might hurt your feelings. It's like a personality test, but it's really about how you subconsciously view your goals in life. So do at me and let me know how accurate I am.
On today's episode of Ronnie's Pregnancy Cravings, she just hit 20 weeks. And that would usually be a celebratory thing. But not in this case, because now she getting super, uber specific about the things that she wants.
Nothing serious, nothing life-changing.
Hey, my name is Keith, and I often get the question, what does a pro athlete do in his spare time? Well, me as a professional fighter, I'm a father of 2, an aspiring cook, and a content creator. So a lot of my spare time is spent helping the people around me. Whether it's cooking, sharing recipes, or using my platform to give back to those in need. I put a lot of emphasis on giving back to my community, and Garden of Good is a perfect game to do exactly.
But then, a simple food review changed everything.
Hey, my name's Keith, and I came to eat with you. Is that cool? Okay, cool. I didn't know what you wanted to drink, so I brought a cranberry ginger tea, sparkling black tea, or water. Water? Okay, I'll just give you water. Yeah, you got the black tea too. I got some wings. I know you might not have that much of an appetite, so we just start with something small, like a little appetizer.
He didn't try to be a food critic. He wasn't a celebrity chef. He was just honest.
Never had nothing that tastes remotely close to that. What? That's arguably the most unique wing I've ever had.
And the internet, they trusted him. One review became 10. 10 became hundreds. And by June 2022, he signed a 6-figure deal with Wingstop.
This is a Cajun garlic Parmesan wing. And it's mandatory, everything get ranch. Garlic Parmesan Cajun wing sounds crazy.
Keith Lee was no longer just a TikToker. He was a movement. A single Keith Lee review could turn a failing business into a sensation. One food truck, 303 in the cut, saw lines wrapped around the block overnight.
Mess around, find out, see what's up.
I'm about to do exactly that. I'm about to mess around and find out. I'm gonna go order, grab the food, and rate it 1 through 10.
I just got back home and the customer service was fire. This only took 20 minutes to grab and I got like 6 things. The owner of the truck was super dope and super personable. He found out about my TikTok because y'all tagged me in his video 1,000 times. I never tell nobody I do TikTok, but I saw how he interact with the people behind me and he was really like that. He was dope. He threw in 2 free drinks and a dessert out the kindness of his heart. I told him if he doing it just because I do TikTok, if it's nasty, it's nasty. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna show you everything I got and we gonna rate it 1 through 10. Philly cheesesteak with fries, crackling chicken loaded fries, green chili burrito. For dessert, the viral cheesecake sandwich. A prickly pear limeade, as you can see, I already been smashing. This is fire. And a lemonade.
A struggling Las Vegas pizzeria had to hire 23 new employees just to keep up with demand. Even Chipotle, a billion-dollar chain, had to update their menu because of Keith's influence. They called it the Keith Lee effect.
TikTok did change my life. A couple years ago, Keith Lee showed up to my food truck in Las Vegas and did a review. Overnight, we had lines. We went from 3 employees my parents are helping to 11 with lines every single night, every day. We've been open 4 years now. We have 2 Las Vegas locations with about 18 employees. Some of the most important things I've learned as a business owner, your employees are your most important asset. Keep them happy.
Lives were changing. Businesses were thriving. But not everyone welcomed Keith Lee's power. Keith visited Atlanta expecting the same warm welcome. Instead, he exposed something ugly.
Me and my family are in Atlanta, and currently we are at the Real Milk and Honey. I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. We are at the Real Milk and Honey on Main Street in College Park. Before we came, we attempted to call our order in. We were greeted with an automatic message that said they do not take call-in orders. The automatic message said the only way you can do pickup is through DoorDash. We went through DoorDash, they was closed. But online, it said they closed at 5 o'clock. We went on DoorDash at 4 o'clock, but we were already here, so we just went inside. I stayed in the car and my family went in and they told them they were closed early for deep cleaning. Yet the door's wide open and it's people still going in and grabbing their orders. Now we have no idea if those people ordered.
Restaurants refused to take call-in orders. Some only served him when they realized he was famous.
Yesterday, me and my family were at the One Music Festival. Somebody who works with Candy Birds walked up to us and said they've been trying to reach us since we got to Atlanta. He said he'd been constantly emailing me and constantly DMing me for me to come to Old Lady Gang. I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. Me and my family showed up and we attempted to order before we got here. We called the number they had connected on Yelp 3 times, no answer. We tried to order through DoorDash and it said it was temporarily closed. So when we pulled up, I sent my family in to order for us. They said on the weekends, due to being busy, they don't do any takeout at all.
They do to-go orders?
No, we don't do to-go on the weekend.
Oh, okay, so it's sit-in dining.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Which is completely understandable. So what we decided to do is my family's gonna go eat. They're just gonna come bring the food out while I'm sitting in the car, so they have no idea I'm here. My family asked how long the wait was to be seated. They said an hour to an hour and a half.
Yes, hour and a half.
Okay.
She also said they didn't have any reservations available, so they didn't take down any number, any contact information, nothing. My family then came and relayed that message to me, and I decided to go in myself. We walked in and we were greeted by a nice young lady. And then I met some amazing people who were eating there, and we took some pictures.
When Keith tried to wait in line like everyone else, they suddenly had a table ready.
God is amazing. As soon as me and my wife were done taking pictures, the lady said the table was ready. As always, I don't want any special treatment. I want to be treated like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I'm a normal person. I'm a normal customer. Things like this is exactly why I do reviews the way I do. Just because I have a certain amount of followers on social media don't make me different from nobody. My mom, my mom-in-law, my sister, they all paying customers just like me. So I want them to be treated just like me. So I asked how long the wait time has been today. She said an hour to an hour and a half. So which I then asked, how were you able to sit me in 5 minutes? This is her response.
How long are we looking for as far as waiting?
I'm just gonna sit up there for like 5 minutes. On the wait, this all call came. Now it's whoever first come, first serve.
Again, my family just attempted to eat there less than 2 minutes ago. I then told her I changed my mind. We're gonna go eat somewhere else. And I said, God bless you. And I walked out.
On second thought, it's okay. We're gonna go eat somewhere else. So I appreciate it though, for sure.
But Keith Lee refused to play along. And when he spoke the truth, the internet exploded.
Time you might get bad service, and it's really not their fault. They're just slammed.
We just might not have time to cater to your specific needs.
Especially if it's a to-go.
Yeah. Or if we popping.
Right.
If we popping, I got 17 other tables that's about to be seated in a half an hour. I got to get this shit done. I can't deal with you, Mr. Johnson.
Keith Lee, keep you and your fucking family and in-laws and kids and your wife out of my restaurant.
Okay, this is the one thing I want to say about Keith Lee that I hadn't seen nobody say yet. Here's why it's hard to get him to review your food good. Because you would have to treat everybody the same. You don't know when he's coming. He ain't gonna come in and you're like, oh, Keith, let's treat him right. That don't work. That backfires. And the people he's sending in for the food, he don't never show them on the videos. So in order to treat him well, you would have to treat every customer well. And well, that's just gonna take too much doggone time. It's easy to treat celebs well when they come in. We celebs, we on our way, treat us different. That's easy. But you try to do that to Keith, and it backfired. He like the Joker right now. You trying to bribe him? He's like, nah, man, I don't want your money. I want to pay for the food, and I want to be treated normal. People are like, what? This ain't how celebrity works. Let me treat you different. And then the video go crazy because of that. And the restaurants, they not finna treat everybody well. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I do appreciate Keith Lee for stopping by our restaurant and trying to show us love. It is very unfortunate that we couldn't serve him and his family. We would have loved to, okay? But he's right. We don't take to-go orders on the weekends. And the simple reason is because we do love and appreciate the people who come and support our restaurant. On the weekends, we get a lot of community support, people in our city that show up for us, as well as a lot of people from out of town.
Keith Lee needs to go back to his state because he's liable to get fucked up in ATL. Keith Lee gonna die if he find the right one. People put their life savings in some of these businesses. He gonna fuck with the wrong one. The fact that y'all even have this type of energy for someone that isn't really even doing harm for black people, he is just being his authentic self and holding people accountable. When there's so many people that are actually doing bad and harm to us, it goes to show how unserious some of you are.
Some business owners lashed out. Others, like Cardi B, stood by his side. But Keith, he just kept moving forward. Because his mission was bigger than Atlanta.
This guy called Keith, he does restaurant review. And I'm like, who is that? Who is that? I know that being a restaurant owner is a lot of hard work. And so many people have invested money in their restaurants. People, like this, is their everything. But I always find this. Eating in Atlanta, it is such an event. You could barely order in Atlanta restaurants. Like you go like, hey, I would like to make an order. Oh yeah, we don't take orders. They don't do no pickup orders. They don't do delivery.
In just 2 years, Keith Lee went from a failed MMA fighter to one of the most trusted voices in food.
Who would have thought Keith Lee would bring ATL out, bro? Like, God did this.
He's helped hundreds of small businesses stay alive.
Keith Lee, we crossed paths at the perfect time, and where our lives are at today, it's a beautiful thing.
He's given thousands of dollars to those in need. And through it all, he's remained humble, honest, real. Because Keith Lee was never just a food critic. He was a fighter, and this time, he wasn't fighting in the cage. He was fighting for something bigger.
Somebody saw this man on TikTok.